Well, thank you for coming. As a government that's elected to live within our means, Albertans want to know that their tax dollars are being used wisely for the benefit of Alberta. That is the principle that guides our government every day. That's why today I've written to Alberta's Auditor General, and I think you have a copy of the letter, and I've asked him to review our use of government aircraft, specifically the use of planes out of province, to ensure that the public can have full confidence about how we use the planes. Until that report comes back, we'll be suspending our planes from flying outside the province. I've also asked the Minister of Finance today to move forward and issue a request for proposals to secure a preferred provider for hotels, airline, and rental cars. And I've asked him to ensure that this business is brought to tender within 90 days. This will ensure that taxpayers get value for money when we have to travel outside of Alberta to do the work that we were asked to do. In addition, I've asked my staff to comb through all of my flight records, and I've decided to repay some costs associated with 5 of my flights. Questions about a past trip to Vancouver were raised today, and while I did attend government meetings while I was there, I met with India's Consul General and the President of the Asia Pacific Foundation. I also attended a private function, my uncle's funeral. And given that I want to leave no doubt in the public's mind about my use of the government planes, I've decided to reimburse taxpayers for the cost of the trips. At the end of the day, I'm the Premier of Alberta, but I'm also the mother to a daughter who I love to spend time with. I think many mothers can relate to that, and I don't always get to do that. And there are times where I have to do business that takes me away from home, and I do bring Sarah with me, and you know that. On a few occasions, when I know that my schedule will be demanding, I have encouraged Sarah to bring along a friend so that she has company. But upon reflection, taxpayers should not have to pay any of the costs that are associated with my daughter's friends' travel. As a result, I will also reimburse taxpayers for the 5 instances that we found where a friend of my daughter's has flown with us on the government plane. Government officials, including the LG, our cabinet ministers and others, carry out important work every day that involves travel to various parts of this province. It's how we connect with Albertans and understand the issues in their communities. The decision to use planes is not new. The Alberta government has had a fleet of aircraft since the 1970s, and even before that, some government departments owned and operated their own aircraft. But long-standing practices should continually be reviewed so that they remain current with best practices. I hope that the steps that we're taking now will give Albertans confidence that we're holding ourselves accountable for the use of public resources. Today, we take another step forward to promote increased openness and accountability. That's what Albertans deserve.
I think everyone understands that the Premier's under a lot of pressure, and I think we all understand that she has family obligations, and I don't think anyone has ever taken issue regarding her dealing with her daughter in any way. That's her prerogative of a mother. That's not what this is about. This is about somebody who clearly is looking to blame other people for her decisions. And it's very unfortunate to see this kind of display. It seems that every single person in Alberta knows what the solution to her problem is right now with regards to this, with regards to her travel expenses, except for her. And that's the problem. She needs to pay the money back.
The Premier has acknowledged she's made a mistake. She's apologized. All she has to do is just write a check for $44,000 and pay the taxpayer back. For the Premier to actually launch another investigation with the Auditor General will lead to not only more costs to the taxpayer, but we actually can't question the Premier and the legislature anymore. As Mr. Anderson mentioned, there's certain rules when there's investigations that are launched. It is a cynical ploy for her to report herself to the Auditor General.
I'm unclear about why she's taking this step. I do not think that this needs to be referred to the Auditor General. If we had a Premier that knew what was going on and was in control and was giving clear direction to her staff, we would not need an officer of the legislature to study the matter. I think Mr. Anderson is correct with respect to whatever flights she's referring, but I don't think it will deflect any questions about the South Africa trip, since I understood from what the Premier said is she's not referring that, she's not paying that back.